Good morning and welcome back to the Endgame. Once again, we're in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and while I don't really like doing the same game back to back, in fact this might be the third time in a row I've done Freedom Unite. Shut up. My phone is talking back to me, shut up. It's talking back to me in my own voice, that's always exciting. Sorry, the instability of, and I'm not going to rant for very long about this, so you needn't fear, but the instability of the Android version of the Twitch app is profound and annoying. Alright, let's get back to this. A few things to discuss. My curiosity, which I'm now going to satisfy, was whether or not I had done it 3 times now. No, so I've only done it once, Freedom Unite. That was part 27. We are now doing it for the second time, mainly because it is the easiest game for me to play with people in. So here we are. I've got a pretty good group together. 3 people with whom I'm very familiar. We've got AJ, who joins me in my chat all the time, and I play with him quite often as well in Monster Hunter. We've got Kusha, or Nagakuka, as he is possibly affectionately known by the audience. He is Kusha in-game, and then we've also got Madolce, who is Ice Cream, with whom I have played frequently while live. So yeah, it really does feel like a bit of a solid team. I was meant actually to change my equipment, not just eat. So let me go home and change to something that I might enjoy using against a Camellia. So I feel like using a greatsword, weirdly enough. Should I use Dragon or Fire? I will use Dragon, how about that? So that's going to be Brunhild. I swear there should be an R included in that. Brunhilde, that's what I'm familiar with when I see that. But I could be wrong. Maybe both are correct. Or that's a terrible translation, one of the two. I'm removing decorations from the helmet. Need an unsheathed jewel in there. I have not played Monster Hunter recently at all. The last time I played was when I was last live, which was probably about a month ago, and I've not played in my own time, and I wasn't really playing all that much before that point either, so I'm going to be a little bit rusty. So, there you have it. Let me make sure everything is well. Okay, let's get Camellios on the go. Okay. Evaporate into the night. Alright, so one thing that I'm just going to mention at the beginning of this live stream is that I've got a different idea now for what I'm going to do in terms of my personal presentation in these live streams. This is just going to be a test. I may or may not continue with this, but what I'm going to do is for the most part not have myself visible. I've got myself on a toggle, so now that I'm not visible, what I hope is that you're going to be really dialing into my voice. This is going to be more of an audio experience. I mean, I feel like for a lot of you, you tend to listen more than you watch anyway. But the reason why I do this is because I want to get nice and close to my microphone, but when I do that, as you can see, even from a side view, it's blocking part of my face, which for me is really intolerable and kind of stupid. So I've decided instead to only occasionally show myself on camera, maybe during periods of quiet, where I'm either taking a drink or maybe even doing a monologue to camera. But for the most part, I'm not going to be visible. So that's the plan. Let me just see if I want to keep the chat up or not, because I do like to keep that off whenever possible. I might not do that, just because these guys are probably mostly going to communicate in that chat, and I don't want to miss anything important that they might have to say. Okay, let's get going. I don't know if this is going to be a weak Camellios or not, but it is going to be a G-rank Elder Dragon, so this should be a pretty substantial hunt. It's a good team though, so even if it's full health, it shouldn't take that long. Feels very strange to be back in Monster Hunter. I've been playing a lot of different games recently. Even first-person shooter games. I feel minded to revive my moribund Doomlink FPS channel. But we needn't get into that. Just waiting for him to finish his tail attack there. I don't know if you would really call that an attack. It's more like just an irritating behavior of his. Now, of course, one of the main reasons why you would use a dragon weapon is to break the horn, so I'm going to be aiming for the face. It only requires 1 point of dragon damage in order to break, but I see no reason not to aim for the head. Consistently. I'm just checking audio levels here. I want to ensure that everything is acceptable. I think that's fine, actually. I'm quite happy with that. Hold on, just trying to read this guy's name in my Twitch chat. Rodri Yabala. Welcome to the live stream. Radio voice is what I've been told. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm nice and close to my microphone now, so hopefully it's going to sound a little bit more like a radio voice. And apparently I nailed the pronunciation of the name. I do notice sometimes that people make these Twitch names that cannot be easily pronounced immediately. So those of us who are live have to try and take the time to read it while playing these games. It can be a challenge. And I'll be back on the head. As you can see, the horn is broken. And obviously what that means is that Chameleos can no longer use his gimmick. He will attempt to go invisible, but he'll be largely unsuccessful. He will always have that outline around him. Can I get a level 3 out? Yes, I can. As I suggested at the beginning of the live stream, well, sorry, not at the beginning of the live stream itself, but at the beginning of this fight, we've got a pretty good team, so even though this is a full health Chameleos, it shouldn't take too long to kill him. At the moment, we've got a pretty effective, I suppose, stun lock strategy going, where they are attacking the back legs. I'm just keeping myself here in position to hit the head because I thought that inevitably he would go down again, but if he's not going down, then I might contribute to hitting the legs. I do think he's leaving, yeah. Okay. What are you pinging for, Kushar? Alrighty. Let us pursue the monster. I wouldn't say it's spoiling anything, really, to have recently bought the modern Monster Hunter games and then choose to also play Monster Hunter for the PlayStation 2. I always recommend that people go backwards one game at a time, one generation at a time, rather than having the most extreme experience of playing 5th generation Monster Hunter and then moving into 1st generation, because the difference is stark. It's incredible. So you definitely are running the risk of losing interest in 1st generation Monster Hunter and perhaps old Monster Hunter in general by forcing yourself to be exposed to that level of difference. But some people, as I've noted before, are able to enjoy 1st generation Monster Hunter as 5th gen players. And I suppose there's now 6 generations of Monster Hunter. But you did mention Rise and World specifically. Look, Monster Hunter 1 has a lot of personality. It requires a lot of personal flexibility of the player to just get used to really the clunkiness of the game. I don't like using the word clunky because it feels a little overused. And it's obviously so subjective. I mean, what is clunky to one person is stylistic rigidity to another person. But it has to be said that the 1st generation of Monster Hunter, and particularly Monster Hunter 1, is very, very clunky. It's rough around the edges, but look, you can still call it stylistic. It's got a lot of personality. Now, one thing that I'm going to do after this hunt is I'm going to close one of my windows because it's causing one of the doors to bang a lot, and I don't really want that background noise. I do want airflow in my premises, but I don't necessarily want to entertain the idea of constant background noise during this live stream. That would be kind of annoying. Yeah, that's awful. Let's not continue with that. As I said, very quick fight. That was very quick. And I have every reason to assume that that's a full health Camellias. And we did break everything on him. We broke the horn, we cut the tail. And I don't know if he's got any other breaks, but in later games he does, but maybe not this one. Well, the thing with Greatsword is that if you're too aggressive with it, you'll end up not getting much damage out at all. The beauty of Greatsword is finding what you can get away with when you swing it. There's a beautiful end screen, look at that. I suspect I was the one who dealt the final hit based on that screenshot. That's lovely. That's very good. Big Elder Dragon Jewel. Big Elder Dragon Jewel. Yeah! I've been rewarded for my epic final hit. Alright. Good stuff. Yeah, so Monster Hunter 1 is obviously going to be very different when it comes to using the Greatsword. It's not going to be as risky as what I'm using here. In order to deal good damage with the Greatsword here in second generation Monster Hunter, you have to be able to charge it effectively. So in other words, find your opportunity to charge it, but also don't overcommit. You know, find the timing that allows you to get consistent charges off, whether it be level 1 or level 2 or level 3 charges. Monster Hunter 1 is different in that there is no charging for the Greatsword. It's just this big thing that you swing around. So, honestly, you're not going to be as exposed as you would be in this game where you have to charge it. And you're also going to be able to move a lot more. So, higher mobility, less risk, etc. Alright, I'm going to get the next random hunt up. Let's see what we're doing next. It's going to be Rajang and Tigrex Diamond Dust. I do actually like that quest. Diamond Dust, if I recall correctly, is actually in the locale of the Snowy Mountains. It's a pretty good quest. I forgot to actually tell them in the in-game chat what it was going to be. Hopefully they are also monitoring the Discord chat, because that is where the information exists. The combos of Greatsword in Monster Hunter 1 are pretty simple. There's literally 3 attacks that you can do. There's the overhead slash, there's the round slash, and then there's the upswing. I would say that it's probably better to go for overhead slashes as often as you can. Although AJ in the chat is probably more familiar with the motion values, in other words, the actual damage that each slash does. My guess is that your overhead slash, in other words, when you press triangle, that's probably your most damaging attack. Followed shortly thereafter by circle, which is your round slash, and then upswing, which is triangle plus circle. Upswinging is still good damage. You wouldn't really use it much in these games, but in Monster Hunter 1 and the other first-gen games, the upswing is definitely worth using in terms of dealing good damage. Square should not actually be an option in your combo. Square is to sheathe your weapon, so Yeah, your attack buttons will be triangle and circle, and then you can press triangle and circle together. Oh yeah, we are talking about Monster Hunter 1, so yeah, this is analog controls, not triangle, circle. Thank you for the reminder. Alright, let me get a loadout organized, and then I will go and shut doors in my premises, and then we'll proceed. So it's Tigrex and Rajang. I don't know if they have a common secondary elemental weakness. Obviously, Rajang is weak to ice, and Tigrex is weak to thunder. So maybe I'll just go raw. Let's keep it simple. Maybe I'll bring Rapid Bow. I like that idea. So therefore that would be the Black Fatalis Bow. Exterminator Bow. Did I eat? I did. I've got a basket on my head, how about that? My character is terribly shy, he doesn't want anyone to actually see him. Yeah, one of the things that's very annoying about very old Monster Hunter is the sheer number of small monsters that are jumping around you at the same time. I suppose you just get used to avoiding them, really. I'm not sure if there is much of a strategy beyond that. You can always try to kill them before you fight the large monster, but then that also puts you at risk while fighting the large monster. What I'm going to do is I will depart on the quest and then I will go and shut doors, because I would rather have a quest ongoing for these people to engage with than go AFK while they're just sitting here doing nothing. Okay. I shall ready up. Bring dung bombs, says Kushala. Yes, what excellent advice. Dung bombs are basically your troll item of 1st and 2nd gen. If you want to breathe in a massive fecal cloud, then yeah, they're excellent to drop. They're really good. Alright. Shall I farcast? Yeah. It's probably safer to do that. In fact, it's definitely safer to do that. Hold on. Let me get out of here. I will be back momentarily. I have doors to shut. I'm back. With a frog in my throat. These guys are going to be done with this hunt by the time I get there. I was considering whether or not it was a good idea to actually use a Farcaster, because it's going to take ages to get back there. But I'm doing it anyway. I've done it anyway. Does this count as leeching? Certainly not. It's hard for me to say precisely when you'll unlock new areas. Rodria. I guess I'll just call you Rodrigo. Did you say that was your name? It's just easier than saying that other business. Rodrigo. I'll call you Rodrigo. you will steadily have new locations to go to as you progress through the different star missions. It's very slow going at first because you're doing these terrible gathering quests. It's mostly forest and hills and... what else is it in the very early game? Potentially the swamp. But, yes, you'll also have the desert. And, potentially more as well. Let me think. Yeah, you've got the jungle, the swamp, the desert, and the forest and hills. And in time you will visit them all, but to start with, you begin in the forest and hills. It's a very slow beginning to a game. Not just in Monster Hunter 1, but pretty much in all Monster Hunter games between 1 and, I'm going to say, 3 Ultimate. They all have a very, in some cases, tedious first few quests. Because, of course, you don't play a Monster Hunter game with the intention of gathering mushrooms, so it's a little annoying that they force you to do that. I understand why they did it. But obviously it wasn't absolutely necessary because they completely dropped that from the game. And that was before they were doing major revisions to the series in 5th gen. This was something that they mostly got rid of in 4th gen. It wasn't totally gotten rid of, but yeah, they really realized that that was affecting people's ability to engage with the game because it's absolutely crucial when you've got a game to get people hooked at the start. But you see, Monster Hunter has never been like that. It's, well, historically it was not like that. How it worked was you had to be patient and wait for the game to get good, which is, it runs counter to everything that is sensible in game design, if you think about it, especially in modern times. It's just a different way of approaching video gaming. You have to be patient and wait for the game to get good, which, you see, in today's world is just not something that people are willing to spend their time with. They want to get a game and have fun with it, simple as that. So, for that reason, historically, it has always been needed. Well, not needed, but it really, really helps for you to have a friend who gets you into Monster Hunter. You almost need a sort of custodian, someone to take you along for the ride, to not just give you a helping hand, but actually to encourage you to continue playing. Someone who says, hey, it gets really good. It sucks now, but it gets really good. And yeah, it might be really uncomfortable to play right now, but you'll get used to it. And it'll be very satisfying when you do get used to it. Things like that, you know. Now, you see, I thought that it was 2 monsters spawned at the same time, but that's not true. It seems that they spawn 1 at a time, and now that Tigrex is dead, we'll have to wait for Rajang to appear. I don't know where he appears, but given that I'm the only one walking around, he probably appears in the same area. I agree with you, Kusha. I also like the way you progress through early Monster Hunter games. That's why I pretty much exclusively play old Monster Hunter. I shouldn't even add the phrase pretty much. I don't play the newer ones. And to get to the heart of why, it's because I enjoy the satisfaction of building a character. I enjoy a game that doesn't care if you play it or not. It's just, it's effectively saying, here I am, you can play me or you can go away. And that always, I suppose, enticed me to get in there and experience it. To learn it, to conquer it as well. So, but yeah, Rodrigo, if you're playing Monster Hunter 1, you can acknowledge that you're terrible at it, but you're still willing to keep giving it a try, you've definitely got the right mindset for Monster Hunter. I would just encourage you not to burn yourself out. If it does start getting really, really difficult and you're getting frustrated, just take some time away from it. And then come back fresh. But again, everyone works differently. Some people actually are better off bashing their head against a wall repeatedly until they eventually get better. That's probably how I did it. And I suppose even if you take breaks, that's effectively what the experience is going to be like anyway. I have not played Path of Exile, no. Iazoni, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but yes, this is Hunsterverse. I find it to be the best place to play PSP Monster Hunter games. Although I do have a vested interest. That was a bit greedy of me to attack the face like that. I haven't really been paying attention to what songs have been played. I'm assuming we're getting attack. Unless... I know that the standard Hermitor and Cyanator Hunting Horn has attack, but that one might not. That one's the Terra and Plum. I don't think that one actually does have attack on it. That's alright. Maybe he's giving us cold resistance. I haven't played too many other games. I mean, I have obviously played lots of video games, but I find that compared to your average gamer, I haven't played many different games. What I tend to do is I select specific game series or even individual games and then spend a lot of time playing those games. I always choose games where they have huge replayability and I can play them for many, many years and not get bored ultimately. And I have various games on rotation in that way. I would say that in terms of playing video games, the games that I primarily play are Monster Hunter, Zelda, and Souls. That's basically my my trifecta, if that's the right word. And I do play other ones as well, but definitely rotating through those games from those three series keeps me entertained almost permanently. Almost don't need anything else. Nope. Out of coatings, but I decided that it wasn't really worth bringing combinations for them. We have a pretty solid team, so bringing 50 power coatings is enough. Kusha insists that Rajang has ADHD, which is an interesting diagnosis. I don't think I've ever had a monster diagnosed with a neurological disorder in Monster Hunter, but that's always welcome. Yeah, any sort of game that's worth playing for 1,000 hours is a game worth playing for me. That's what I really aim for. Replayability is the, I suppose, the value proposition that I want from a game. It's one of the most important factors. Goodbye. I seem to keep getting the final hit. That does not have anything to do with my DPS versus the team DPS. It's purely coincidental. Okay, he does have attack up. I wasn't sure. Compared to Monster Hunter 1, it is definitely easier to farm consumables here in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, but it will still take time. For example, you can purchase more things generally in this game, and you've got a much more effective farm. So your farm is where you go to multiply items that you already have, and you can upgrade the facilities that multiply those items. So like, for example, you get a honey box to give you more honey. It's just not a thing in Monster Hunter 1. I don't know when they first introduced a honey box. Maybe that was in Monster Hunter G. If you remember, AJ, that would be helpful for you to chime in, but I don't think... Was there a farm in Monster Hunter 1? I think that was Monster Hunter G that introduced that. But anyway, it's been a while since I've played Monster Hunter 1, so my memories are becoming jumbled. But I suppose what I would say is that you've got more options to purchase items here in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite compared to Monster Hunter 1, and the farming facilities are much, much better. So it's easier to gather what you need for hunting. Oh, Freedom 1 introduced the farm. It wasn't even Monster Hunter G. Okay. Thank you for that. That's more of a reflection of my lack of familiarity with Monster Hunter G than anything else. I was pretty sure it wasn't in 1, but... yeah, that's interesting. Sometimes you can't underestimate what some games bring about for the first time. A farm in Monster Hunter, that's pretty significant. Alright. What is our next quest? Oh. Arena of Blood and Tears, Green Plesioth, Red Kezu, Emerald Kongalala, and Terra Shogun Senator. Excuse me. Alright. I'm happy with that. I don't really have... excuse me, I don't really have any recommendations for Monster Hunter 1 gameplay. You know, like for instance, tutorials and things like that. Because I haven't really watched what people have uploaded. But if anyone else has recommendations, that's always welcome to be included. Alright, so this is going to be a quest where there are many, many monsters. With probably different weaknesses, so raw damage might be good as well for this. Let me see. Yeah, I'm definitely going to bring either raw or status. Let me have a look and see what I feel like using. How about I use Lance? And hopefully I've got a poison option for that. Do you think I have a poison Lance? That is the question, isn't it? I do not. Well, that's something for me to work on then, isn't it? Alright, let's bring Dragoon's Gay Bulge. Yes, that is the pronunciation. Hey, Davida. Yeah, so what I'm planning to do, Davida, as you can hear, my vocal audio is better than it was before. That's because I'm close-mic'd. Now, the problem with close micing is, as you can see, the microphone is covering much of my face. I also have to film at a weird angle, so I'm trying to have this be more of an audio experience. I'm more or less testing it out for now. I don't know if I'll continue doing that, but I think that's how I'm going to proceed. I'm not, like, going with no camera whatsoever, but I kind of like that idea. I like the idea of being mostly audio only. It's more immersive. Besides, particularly on YouTube, the webcam view during hunts is just terribly pixelated anyway, so... no love lost, in my opinion. So, in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, yes, you can get pretty much all armor. You've got a lot of equipment box space. And you've touched upon something quite relevant, which is the extreme limitation of box space in Monster Hunter 1. You are very, very curtailed in that. You have almost nothing. It's extreme. It's probably one of the things I find most annoying about very old Monster Hunter. Because the reality of Monster Hunter for me is that I really like to accumulate things, whether I need them or not. I just like to accumulate them. But I can't do that in old Monster Hunter, because you just don't have the space for it. There are what are called armor sets, which you may have noticed. Well, is that how you phrase it? Equipment sets? We'll say equipment set, where you can actually register a set and then equip it automatically from the item box at home. You've seen me do that. Now, you do have a limitation with that. I think it's 20 sets, 20 slots that you can populate with something that can be automatically equipped. But that doesn't preclude you from creating your own sets within your box. What a lot of people do is, rather than auto-sorting their box, their equipment box, what they'll do is they'll actually lay out their armor sets piece by piece in their box and equip them that way, because, you know, they have more armor sets than what the game can facilitate with the equipment set feature. So, yeah, that's also an option available to you in these games, but it does get very, very limited in first gen. Definitely limiting yourself to 20 sets can be frustrating. It's not too frustrating for me because I guess I was flexible enough to limit myself. And besides, I'm not really the type of person to have extremely specific armor sets. I try to have sets that are useful in a variety of scenarios. So consequently, I only end up with 20 sets pretty comfortably. There are definitely sets that I would like beyond this, but I couldn't really be bothered making them, I guess. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Davida says that he habitually presses the auto sort button, and I'm very much the same. Is it one monster at a time? My god, this is going to be easy. This will be like a little tour. I'll paintball you. Look, I don't have any sonic bombs, so... I do have regular bombs, though. Suicide bombing myself and Kushala to get the Plesioth out of there. Thought he was going back in for a moment. I think he is. No, he's not. Yeah, you stop that. So for those who are not familiar, this is Plesioth. And he has a terrible, terrible hitbox in this game. And I think in Freedom too. But these are the only games where he's got a bad hitbox. I believe it was Freedom 2 in this game only. I know for certain that it's this game and maybe Freedom 2, but yeah, beyond that, he's fine. I don't know why this was so broken, I don't know what they got wrong, but that would be quite the indictment against Capcom if they actually fucked that up not once but twice. But yeah, if you go back and play, say, you know, PS2 Monster Hunter or Monster Hunter Freedom 1, the hitbox is fine for Plesioth. It's not an issue whatsoever. So. Well, you see, Davida, there isn't a good explanation for it, because it's really only these games, and he's just as big in, say, first gen, but his hitbox is perfectly fine now, so... It is actually just a bug. But you know, Capcom have often made mistakes with their early games. Like, for example, the consistent mistake made with... What is it? Isle 9 in the Forest and Hills, where the camera angle is terrible? That was not intentional, that was a bug. Which Capcom apologized for, publicly. And it was quite shocking that they managed to have that bug exist for, what was it, 4 games? Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, Monster Hunter DOS, and Freedom 1, which is pretty shocking. Actually, to be honest, I'm not certain if the glitch was also present in DOS. That I'm not certain about. Now, Kusha is using a poison lance. That is the Remobra lance. They reimagined that design in 3rd generation for Giganox, actually. It's a very cool lance, bit of a vampire theme going on there. But yes, that is a lance that I wouldn't mind getting. What I have that he doesn't have, though, is a cheese grater. He doesn't have a fucking cheese grater, so... I can prepare food and hunt simultaneously. Oop. Straight into an attack. Bloody hell. Oh, actually, I didn't know that the Wii version of Monster Hunter G had fixed the issue in Area 9 of Forest and Hills. That's kind of funny. I remember wanting so desperately to play Monster Hunter G on the Wii, but being deterred by the fact that it was Japanese only. Oh well. Very, very tempted to pick up that shiny, though. In fact, I shall give in to temptation. Of course, it's just a Mega Potion. I forgot that this was a multi-monster hunt, so therefore I'm not getting any drops. It's actually better for me to use Evasion because I do have Evade Extender here. And I have Evade Extender mostly for positioning. I'll show you what I mean. See this? So I'm not really using Evade Extender for evasion purposes, although it is useful in that way. It's very, very good for positioning when you've got the lance. I've been fighting very, very subconsciously. So I hadn't really clocked the fact that I was using Evade Extender, though, on my armor set. But, yes, I do have it, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you've never done it, I encourage you to try it. Don't knock it till you try it, as they say. Get out a lance and use Evade Extender with it. It feels like magic. It's lovely. And what I'll try to do in this particular hunt is demonstrate why it's so nice. Why it's so comfortable. See? What lovely mobility, huh? I mean, this is going a bit far. I don't really have the stamina for this, but... yeah, you can see why having that increased evade distance is so useful. The skill is literally called Evade Distance Up here in this game, I should mention. I almost feel bad for Kezu getting this beat down, but... he's also a very repulsive monster. I'm going to eat a ration. Oh yeah, and thank you for the gourmet steak, Kusha. I wasn't really sure what you were going to give me there. I thought it might have been garbage or something like that. But no, you actually gave me something useful. Thank you. I think I forgot to thank you because I was in the middle of saying something. There you go. That's a dead Kezu. I should also mention that if you're planning to use traditional controls for Monster Hunter 1 and you want to use a bowgun, you will have to actually click your right analog stick in order to shoot. It's absolutely shocking, but that's what they do. That's what they chose. Doesn't make any sense to me, but Yeah. That's Capcom for you. Kushala is so giving. So very charitable. Oh. AJ's out of here. Oh, here we go. We get to watch Congalala fly into the area. Very good. Got some paralysis meat down here. I don't suspect that Congalala will eat that. I could be wrong, but yeah. I haven't seen him eat meat before. I thought he was a herbivore, given that he eats that mushroom on his tail, but I could be wrong. He could be omnivorous. That would be acceptable for a primate. Oop. Attack his haircut. God, he's really covering some distance here. He's also very effective at farting on the team. Oh my god. He's going all over the map. I do hate it when the mere expansion of his stomach is treated as an attack. I wasn't within range of it, but when you are in range of it, it's quite stupid. Aha. Well, he didn't eat the paralysis meat, but he did get paralyzed. That's good enough, I suppose. And he's dead. Goodbye. I think there's one more monster. Yes. Terra Shogun Cyanatol. A subspecies that is unique to this game. Of course, when you've got these multi-monster hunts, you end up spending most of the quest, or so it feels, waiting for monsters to spawn. Tinged meat. Yeah, you can have that meat, I'll have this one. Well, I can't imagine Shogun Cyanatol will be eating this tinged meat. Oh no. Aha. What's he doing? Come on, wake up. You're in a fight, Cyanatol. You may not have arrived here for that purpose, but that's what's going on. I probably should heal, but I think he's going to get stun-locked pretty effectively, so... Not just that, he's going to get paralyzed. Best of luck, Rodrigo. Show that Velocidrome who's boss, I guess. Well, I did say that I should heal, and then I decided against it. To my detriment, as you can see. It's not very, it's not very complicated, you know. Get hit, heal yourself. When it came to that part, or that aspect of playing Monster Hunter, I unfortunately failed. That's okay. Oh, God. And that's it for the quest. And I'm not in need of any more Mega Potions. I'm interested to see what I can get at these barrels. So, small barrel bomb over there. Or just a small barrel. That was a bomb. Supply flash bomb. I don't know why it's filled with mushrooms. That's a bit unusual. What about over here? I don't need even more Mega Potions, my god. I'll get some bombs then. Maybe I'll get a Lost Umbrella. Got a giant lobster shell. Now those are moderately rare. Pretty good. It's one of those things that you tend to get them when you don't need them, but then when you actually need them, they are fucking annoying to get. Try as you might, you will struggle immensely to get your giant lobster shells when you need them. It is the way of the world. Well, it's the way of Monster Hunter, it's the so-called desire sensor, as people rather superstitiously refer to it. I don't know, I can't imagine how many Mega Potions this hunter has consumed in his life. Hard to even estimate, really. Do I really need those tickets? Come on. How many do... Oh. Still only got one stack. Okay. Well, I'm quite happy to have the tickets then, I suppose. What's going to be our next hunt? Spearman, what's going on? What's he talking about now? Spearman's like, do not redeem! Did someone... Well, no. No one's sent a scam. There's almost no way. So, I don't know what he's talking about. Spearman saying, do not redeem in the chat. Well, your caution has been registered. Or your cautionary warning has been registered. It is Yamatsukami, that is our next monster. Always happy to do a giant octopus. I am a fan, incidentally. I can't do too many of him because he does get a little bit repetitive after a while, but I do like Yamatsukami. I'm not really using the chat, am I? So I might just remove it from the stream. I just don't like it to be there, because the reason why I don't like it is that it immediately makes it clear that this is an emulated game. And there's nothing wrong with emulating. In fact, it looks much better than if I were connecting, say, a PSP to a capture card with component cables, which is something I used to do many years ago. But it just doesn't look nice. It looks, as in that particular chat button. I don't want to have a sort of constant reminder for people watching that this is in the PPSSPP emulator. Please don't tell Sony. Does your dad work for Sony? What would I like to use for this? Something ranged, most likely. I'd like something fun. Which is by no means an unreasonable desire. I really want a better dragon pierce bow. Or I could use this. Yeah, I'll use this. How about this? I almost never use this bow now. Almost never use it. I used to use it all the time. It was a bit of a popular choice in the past, this bow. And remains rather popular. The Lao Shan Lung bow. It's a nice traditional Japanese bow. I don't know what they're actually called, but obviously the sport is Kyudo, but I don't know what the bows are. Or it might not even be a Japanese bow, it might be more like a Chinese bow. A Chinese longbow. Like for instance with Shengaoren, that's a Chinese coin, so this may not necessarily be Japanese. Okay. I may actually bring combination materials for power coatings now. Because I suspect I'll be using a lot of them. Hold on. This thing can shoot all coatings by the looks of it. It certainly can. I'll bring sleep coatings, guys, don't worry. What can I put away? This gourmet steak, well, I'll put it away. Jeez, just as I put away Kusha's gift, he sends me something else. Hold on. What is he giving me? Recovery level 1. My goodness. I'm honored. Where the hell's it gone? I can't even see it. Recovery S level 1, 12. That will be very useful for the upcoming hunt. I'll put it in my back pocket. Alright, where are my nitro shrooms? Here they are. Alright. And I suppose just for good measure I'll buy this stuff. Not that I'm going to use it for this quest, it's just, I guess what you could call inventory maintenance. Alright. Why do you want recovery shots, Kusha? Come on. Do you want me to keep them in my goddamn inventory? What are you using recovery shots for? Are we that in need of support? I'm not bringing them. I've decided that I don't agree with your strategy. He's trying desperately to give someone some recovery shots. Maybe he's trolling us and shooting the monster with recovery. I'm actually not that familiar with AJ's Gunlance. It looks familiar, but I've got no idea what it does or what it is. Player info. Blizzard Gunlance G. Well, there you go. It is, in fact, the Gia Prey, or Geodrome, Gunlance, but G version. That's pretty cool. That's why it's, you know, distantly familiar. It's because I probably saw it in its original version while I was playing this game many years ago. As opposed to its G version. I actually have some power coatings in the box if I find myself back at the box without power coatings, which hopefully doesn't happen. Now, one thing that I haven't really done in this game is get an armor set for the Acantor bow. What I have done before this point is just treat it as a pierce bow that can only reach charge level 2. But it seems that within the community that's not really considered a good idea. I don't really see a problem with it. I think it's still quite a strong bow, even that way, but I suppose it's not absolutely maximum damage. It's not like the maximal effectiveness that you would get, so... Kushar is responding with an ellipsis in the Twitch chat, as if I've just said something sacrilegious, which is fine. I can live with that, but... In fact, where is he? Maybe he was so stunned by what I said that he remained still in-game for some time. Well, apparently something happened that I missed, but that's all right. What were you What do you mean? Why would you shoot us now? If you were buffing us with, for example, a demon shot, then it's much too early for you to be doing that. I'm happy to wait, but... Anyway. Oh, I see. So, he tried shooting us with normal shots and got left behind, so... I'm still no closer to understanding what the ellipsis was about, or even what you're prating on about, even now, but... that's alright. I'm moving on. I've got octopus monsters to fight. Alright, let's do some Kyudo. This is a mighty fine target. Try and get towards the front of the monster. Now I don't want to be shooting too close to him. I think this is probably a good distance. And that was a bit far. I'll aim upwards, I won't just do hip fire. I will in this case, but... Yeah, this is a very satisfying bow. In fact, spread dragon is very satisfying in general. AJ, Davida in the chat is taking exception to your squeaky gun lance. Apparently it needs oiling. I think it's meant to be a sort of cutting sound, like it's cutting into the wind or creating a sort of rushing wind sound. I don't think it's meant to be a sort of squeaky sound effect. But anyway, because I had to actually listen for it now after that comment, but no, I don't suspect that it is actually squeaky. It'd be very funny if it was, though. Like, it's a rusty gun lance. Hasn't been adequately serviced. Listen to the reload? Okay, well, I'll try, but... with all this other stuff going on, come on, reload it. I want to hear it. Oh, fuck. Thank God we've got some tinged meat. Oh, come on. Did you see that I was running to the side? I knew that was going to happen. Oh my God, are we fucking... Oh my fucking God. But hey, we've got the tinged meat down. At least we did that. Oh, fuck me. I saw what was coming. I started running to the side, but it wasn't good enough. It certainly wouldn't have helped if I had dived. The same thing would have happened. I prioritized getting the hell out of there, and it was not good enough. We fucking failed. Fucking hell. We shall try that again. We shall try that again. Kushal says, and this is why you bring recovery ammo. Yeah, right. I've never had a triple cart from Yamatsukami's sucking animation. I've never had it in my life. But today was the day. And now Kushala gets to be all smug about it. In fact, I watched you shoot recovery on one of those guys who died, and that didn't prevent them from dying, so is it useful in the same way a life powder is? I mean, you would think so. Maybe you were too slow. In fact, how about that? How about that? You were too slow. You weren't actually able to prevent the quest failure. After all your talk of recovery shots, Mr. Kusha. My god. Well, no, he's right, Davida. Basically, when you get sucked in, you've got something like a 3 to 5 second window in which you can be healed out of the instant death. But once you hit the ground after flying through the air, and then roll onto your back, then you die. You can actually be saved in the meantime. It's typically done with life powders, but Kushala, with his very eccentric strategy, is trying to do it with recovery shots, and unfortunately, in the previous hunt, he was unable to prevent quest failure. Oh my god. Of course, the tinged meat strategy was not where we went wrong. That, if anything, gave us an advantage. That was, actually, I've got a better interpretation of it. In fact, I don't know if AJ was touching on it there. I read up the chat to see if it had been mentioned. He may have been touching on this, but I find it really hilarious that AJ puts down the meat, and then immediately Yamatsukami starts sucking right where the meat was. Maybe he was hungry. Maybe he was trying to eat it. And as AJ says, he is this close to eating it. So close. Wouldn't that be an incredible Easter egg? Imagine if no one had done that up until this point, and it was actually effective. Imagine if the meat got sucked into his throat and he got paralyzed. That would be a sort of internet-breaking epiphany within the Monster Hunter community. That Yamatsukami can suck in meat and get affected by it. But anyway. Sometimes these things are not discovered until someone does something very silly or something very strange. Like, you know, dropping a tinged meat in front of a Yamatsukami. No, that's not something that you can do in Monster Hunter. You don't drop things on the ground for people to pick up. You can instead do what's called give. So if I'm actually receiving something now. See, Kusha, I don't have space for your stuff. I'm also ranged. I'm also a ranged person, so I don't have space for whatever you're giving me. If it is a kind gift, then suffice it to say that I'm grateful for your gift, but I unfortunately cannot accept it. So... But yeah, if you go to the menu, and it's the same in pretty much every game, you can go to give, but you can only do it up to rarity 3. So anything that is an item of rarity 4 and beyond, you can't do the give thing. So you can see Psychoserums here are rarity 3. So I do have the option to give, but if you look at my book of combos, give is grayed out. So there you have it. I will go and purchase some power coatings, and we will give this quest another try. I suspect that we'll be alright. I think we should be able to kill this monster. Oh my god. Yes, Davida. Low-level monster parts can be traded. So literally anything that is rarity 3 or below can be traded. I believe the reason why they make an allowance for this is because monster parts can often be used for combining things like shots. And just as a sort of catch-all solution, rather than making an allowance for specific monster parts, what they do is just allow anything that is rarity 3 or below. So, you know, basic monster parts, even that can't be combined for anything, can also be given to people. So, yeah, it's always been done by rarity. And, I suppose thinking back, the first time that I learnt that was back when I was playing Monster Hunter Tri. But the same remains true in 2nd gen, and I believe 1st gen as well. Although I think 1st gen treats rarities a little differently. Rarities are a little different. That was quite an effective bomb, actually. I'm quite happy with that. What's going on with you? You alright, mate? Yeah, there's a tree root here. Took you some time to notice it, but you're basically my double. He's using, I think, the exact same set that I'm using. What a weirdo. Apparently, Rodrigo saw this monster in a meme. I'm not sure if Yamatsukami would appreciate that. I think he's a very... I don't know, is that squeaky? Nah, that just sounds like the sound of clanking chains, you know? It just sounds like something metallic and mechanical being actuated. That's what it sounds like. I disagree with your assessment, Davida. I don't think it needs oil, although perhaps it will make less noise. Maybe that's his concern. Maybe Davida doesn't want it to make noise. It is true that it probably shouldn't make noise, but then it wouldn't be very fun, would it? You know, tell that to the people who... What now? What are you giving me? I don't have space in my inventory. I've explained this. Anyway, yeah, tell that to the SFX people who are involved in movie production, film production. Tell them, hey, that thing doesn't actually make noise in the real world, so don't make a sound effect for it. Yeah. Like, I don't know, all of the sound effects that you have for unsheathing a sword, even though if you do it in real life, it probably makes no sound whatsoever. Things like that, you know. Are we getting a suck? We are certainly getting a sucking animation. Here we go. Alright. It looks like we were prepared this time. Please don't do the sucking in this direction. That would be very problematic. I might heal up, actually. Yamatsukami seems really hell-bent on sucking. I actually don't blame AJ for getting caught in that. Oh, that's quite unfortunate. Okay, so... we did get... actually, I don't know if that was a Kushala recovery shot, or if that was a life powder. But basically, Madolche missed out on the life powder, because he got sucked just afterwards. In fact, he may have actually been the one who rescued AJ. He sacrificed himself for AJ, which was very tragic, dramatic, and heartening as well. The sort of thing that tugs at your heartstrings and makes you remember the tragedy and the beauty of the human condition. I don't know, I'm just being very silly, but honestly, these recovery shots are not looking very effective. Oh no, of course, Kushala is not using a gun anymore. Excuse me. I'm casting aspersions upon Kushala's recovery shots without having noticed that he's using a bow now. Ooh. I thought perhaps he was doing his roaring animation, but no. He was not. Yeah, as long as you can either do the despair, kickback, or crouch. Like anything that causes you to be low to the ground allows you to evade the spin. Which is a fun little detail. Oh, fucking hell. Occasionally you will fall straight through Yamatsukami like that. I don't need the carbs, so I don't feel too aggrieved. We are forming one human. Hold on. I'm trying to form one single entity. These two are having a paintball fight. Oh no. Let's flinch him, flinch him, flinch him. Yeah. I don't think he's guaranteed to do the sucking animation even if you don't flinch him, but it's quite likely. Alright, I'm going to sheathe and get ready to jump, in case he does it in this direction. Yeah, I think he was... I don't know which way he was going with it. I wasn't going to take any chances. We can't fucking fail this quest again. I think he may have swept in the other direction, but as I say, it would be unwise to take a chance when it comes to that. We've had one death so far, so it's not inconceivable that we may fail. Oh. Get out of there. I was going to do a gesture, but I wasn't able to do it in time. I don't think, yeah, there's no other gestures that would allow you to avoid it. Only despair and kickback have you low to the ground. Oh. Here we go. Yeah, I suppose I don't actually have space for any of these carves. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. This is actually kind of fun. I was fascinated to actually see how far to the edge of Yamatsukami I could go before I would fall through. Because, yeah, I don't actually have space for his calves at all. I'll have a little bit more space once I run out of power coatings and after I have used my nitro shrooms. Ugh. To be fair, getting slapped by that tentacle would not just hurt, it would kill the average person. Could you imagine the weight of that tentacle slapping you? You would just die. Human beings are very fragile. Oh no. It's combination time. Now, if you're going to hold down the circle button to do rapid combining, in this earlier game, this earlier Monster Hunter, you really have to be stationary in order for that to work. By the way, didn't actually need my combos, after all. Because he's fucking dead. Mouth. Mouth. Yeah, so basically, when you're using a bow, you don't have ammunition per se. You have consumables that increase the damage of your arrows, or make them effective in different ways. So the best illustration of this is if I go into... Oh, by the way, for people watching the VOD, the reason why I'm explaining this is because we have someone in the chat who's quite new to Monster Hunter, so some of these explanations, despite being quite basic, are quite useful for him, so that's why I'm going into these descriptions. But basically, these are all of the coatings that you can get in 2nd Gen Monster Hunter, and they all have different functions. Some of these are status related, so they will build up status damage. One of them is called paint coating, which literally is a paintball but for the bow. And then the other ones are related to damage. So close range coating will give you better, what's it called? Critical distance. So when you're within close range, you'll get a bit of a boost to your critical distance, I think. It may just be like a straight up damage boost at close range. I don't really remember if it's for critical distance or damage, but damage coating is pretty obvious in that it, or power coating is pretty obvious in that it gives you more damage. Honestly, what are you giving me? I don't want it. At this stage, I don't want it. Rare fish? What? Why? By the way, fun fact, anytime that you see that little symbol, which is actually jaws or teeth, whatever you want to say, it means that it can be eaten. Like, well, I don't have another example, but if I go to the meat here, see, gourmet steak, it's got that teeth icon. Basically means that it can be eaten. No, I don't want rare fish. Yeah, exactly. Imagine giving stamina recovery items to me. Gourmet fish plus, oh my god. It's not stamina based though, it's basically, do you remember, god, what's it called? Tanzia chips. I think Tanzia chips did that. It recovers the red portion of your red health. Sorry, the red portion of your health gauge. So, I believe Tanzia chips used to do that. Oh, here we go. Burnt fish. Damn. I don't even know how you cook a fish. How do you cook a fish? I've never bothered to. This is a strange gap in my knowledge. Oh yes, I should be looking to see what our next quest is going to be. It will be a quest called Pride on the Line. It is Black Diablos, Black Gravios, and Naga Cougar. I suppose the common theme is that they are black monsters. Yeah. Let's go to the farm, get some honey. Apparently burnt fish is kind of hard to get. Okay, well I've got an actual rare consumable fish. That's lovely. I'd say it's important to know when to sheathe in all of the Monster Hunter games, Davida. Fortunately, they haven't really changed that crucial aspect or that central aspect to the game. At least I don't think so. The only time I've seen them not really worry about that was in Monster Hunter Frontier with the, I think it was called the Extreme style. But anyway. Alright, so common weaknesses across Black Diablos, Black Gravios, and Nagakuga. I'll just go raw. Ice might be okay, but not really against Nagakuga. Raw damage will suffice. I think I might have to go ranged. I'll bring this. Although that's unlikely to be very effective against a Nagakuga. No, I'll bring it anyway. Excuse me, I've got my voice caught in my throat though. Even against Nagakuga, I think we might give it a try. Alright. Pride on the line. Where the hell is it? Am I blind? Pride on the line. Okay, well, I'm struggling to find it. Is it an official quest? Oh no, it's G3 apparently. What the fuck is G3? I don't even remember it. This is an epic quest that I don't even remember, to be honest with you. Epic hunt, rather. I actually just assumed it was an event quest. I suppose I should bring combination materials, yeah. 3 monsters. Then I think it's Velociprey Fang, right? Yes. Whoop. Let's replace flash bombs. There we go. That should do me. And then maybe I'll bring normal shots for good measure, but it's unlikely to be necessary. Again, as I say, it's for good measure. What the hell? I've only got 16 normal 2 in my box? How responsible of me, not filling my box with trash. That was a surprise. Alright. I'm ready for some black monsters. Kushala is, you know, getting ready. He's got a lot to prepare for. He's going to be... Oh, well, actually, we've got 2 paralysis weapons. To be honest, if we've already got Melink's tool, we really don't need an additional paralysis weapon. That's sort of going a bit too far, but anyway. That's alright. Alright, keep your boomerang to yourself. Bloody hell. This is serious business. This is not... There's no time for recreational hobbies like boomerang throwing. Come on. Honestly, Pierce on a Diablos is also not that amazing. I can sort of get through the wings, that's probably quite good. It's absolutely the case that the primary objective for Pierce is not necessarily to aim for weak points, but to get maximum piercings. Now, you obviously don't want to be piercing through something that does no damage, but generally speaking, that's what you want. You want to get a nice, good pierce through the body. Now, I do also have Evade Extender here on this set, which I believe is quite important for heavy bowgun. Not absolutely essential, but I think it's important, and very useful. Now, had I been the target of that, I would have just gotten hit quite stupidly, though. Aha, that's quite good timing for that. See how my pierce shots are going through nice and effectively? That's what you want. In fact, it's piercing into the tail, which is a shot zone. A very good shot zone. Nicely done. This is another one of those quests where it's one monster at a time. Not difficult at all. I'm quite tired, actually. I mean, I haven't eaten today, so that probably contributes to my fatigue. Oh my god, AJ's eating a burnt fish in front of me. Apparently, burnt fish are hard to come by, so enjoy it while you can see it. Well, it's only midday, Rodrigo. I live in Australia, so... yeah. It is 12:41 PM on the 23rd of August, where I live. Yes, my team is very silly. I have a very silly team. But I've probably played with these guys more than anyone else in Monster Hunter at this point. And that's coming from someone who usually plays with random people. It's not often that I have a friend group with which to play. I have had them in the past, but I'm never good at staying consistent with that stuff. Oh, I'm almost out of pierce shots. Now, obviously, this is the best monster to have pierce shots for. Because he's huge. And chunky. Once again, excellent timing for the paralysis. G-rank level can be soloed, but with great difficulty. So, for example, yes, you could do this quest solo, but you would have to be very, very... What's going on here? Okay. Kushala's dropping a trap on my position. But yes. it's all possible to solo. It's just very, very ill-advised for a person who is even of intermediate skill. You have to be pretty damn good at the game to solo. Otherwise, you'll be spending a very long time playing. Very long time. But yes, it's technically possible. Come on. Ooh. I will detonate that bomb. Sorry, Kushala. I almost killed him doing that, but I did it for good reason. It's because we need the bomb to be detonated as soon as possible, so that people can get in there and hit the damn thing. And, Kushala is now dead. I don't know what killed him this time. Probably a bomb as well. If you mean the non-Capcom servers, it's usually pretty easy to find random people to play with. So, in Hunsterverse, it's fairly well populated for PSP games, like the PSP Monster Hunters. Monster Hunter Old School is quite populated for Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G and also Monster Hunter DOS. And then for the Citra servers, for the 3DS Monster Hunter games, I also don't have too much difficulty finding people to play with there. So, yep. I would say overall, it's pretty good. You just need a little bit of patience because you may not find people immediately, but it's not impossible. It can be difficult for live streaming purposes because obviously live streaming requires an actual setup process. So if I've set up a live stream and I'm sitting here, ideally I would find a group of people immediately, and sometimes it's not possible, which in my case requires a bit of flexibility as to which game I play. I just find whatever game has a group of people playing it. So, there you have it. Get away from me, Nagaku. Alright, moving on to Pierce level 1. It really wasn't necessary for me to bring any combination materials. Rodrigo wants to know how Kushala is able to play the game yet also type in the Twitch chat. You have your answer. Anyway. I suppose you could say that he could be attacking more often than he is, but it's alright. He's doing good work. He's got the Melink's tool. It is a very high paralysis sword and shield, and it gets paralyses off very quickly. Kushala is pinging, I think, because I was flinching him, yeah. So remember, pinging is a form of communication that covers almost all kinds of comments that you might want to make to your teammates. What is required, however, is context. So the fact that I was shooting Nagakuga and Kushala was running towards the Nagakuga and getting flinched, when he pinged and then ran towards me, trying to kick me, that obviously made it clear that the ping was one of enraged discontent. He was not pleased by the fact that he was getting flinched, to which I respond by saying, well, tough luck. I have to shoot the monster, don't I? If you run in the way of my shots, there's not much I can do about it. No, so pinging is literally just, if I open up the menu and then hit beacon, so it's called beacon here in second generation. But there will always be a way to signal to the people that you're playing with online. It's basically your primary form of communication when you can't actually talk or type. people typically use it to say, come here. Right? Because what it's doing is it's alerting people to where you are. It's basically saying here. So either the monster is here, or follow me, or there's a trap here. But you see, in Freedom Unite, they get a little bit more creative with it. And when I say they, I mean the Freedom Unite community. They ping to say everything. They ping to say sorry. They ping to say fuck off. They ping to say, what are you doing? They basically have a whole language. Whoa. Managed to get 2. They are different heavenly. So this is a Gravios heavenly and a Nagakuga heavenly. Pretty good though. But yes, they have an almost Morse code level language going on with Freedom Unite beacons in the community here, so... it's context, Rodrigo. That's all you can do. So, like, if you get hit by someone and that someone then pings, that means that they're apologizing for hitting you. If you hit someone and then they ping, that means they're complaining that you hit them. Like, that's an example. So it's the context which determines what the ping means. Great, I've got my my fish here. I've got my rare fish, my gourmet fish plus, and my burnt fish. They are staying right here. They are for looks only. Alright. Okay, well, I did the random hunt command and we ended up with Gypsaros, which is not very exciting. So what I'll do is I will look to see what quests might be fun that include a Gypsaros. There might be an epic hunting quest that includes Gypsaros. There you go. Let's do Operation Tropical Storm. It's Plum Daimyo, Hermitor, Gypsaros, and Rathian. Yeah, this armor set is... it's mostly Silver Rathalos, but it's also Fatalis. So it's got Fatalis arms and legs. What's particular about it, which you've probably picked up on, is that it's dragon themed. I've got dragon wings and dragon feet. But yeah. It's definitely a striking appearance. Okay, so Plum Daimyo, Hermitor, Gypsaros, and Rathian. Yeah, I'll probably go status, if I can. I'm gonna snoop around, see what I've got. Well, actually, let's use popcorn. Let's just do it. It's popcorn time. Consumables that are difficult to stock up on. They definitely exist. It depends on the game you're playing, actually. In Freedom Unite, let me think. Anything I struggle to stock up on? Spiderwebs can be difficult. So, spiderwebs are what you need to create nets. Now, nets are used to create pitfall traps. Spiderwebs, I may have 50 of them, but... where do you get spiderwebs in this game? So, this is why it's crucial to specify which game you're referring to, because, not you personally, but I mean, like, if I were to say it's difficult to get nets, it depends on the game. So, in first gen, you can just buy nets. That's not an issue. In second gen, not so much the case. So, yeah, they can be a little challenging. Dragon Toadstool in Monster Hunter 1. Maybe AJ can help? I don't know off the top of my head. There should be online references though. And also, almost every question that you could ask can also be directed to, well, rather, it has probably already been asked in GameFAQs. So if you do a Google search, someone's probably asked it in GameFAQs and gotten a pretty good answer, so... that's worth mentioning. Oh, the wiki says low rank, high rank. Yes, that is the one that you want. You definitely want the Japanese version of Monster Hunter 1 because that way you can upgrade, or rather carry it over into Monster Hunter G. So you've made the right choice playing the Japanese version. But in terms of version differences, there are almost none. Okay, so we are doing Operation Tropical Storm. Okay. I'm reminded of a particular band, a local band. So I used to live in Newtown, Sydney. It was a great place, and I went to my local pub. It's where I used to get all my drinks. They were so good. It was called the Union Hotel on King Street. And they have live music there. Fucking brilliant bottle shop. It's one of those pubs where they've got a little side bottle shop. And that's where I would often get a lot of my stuff because it was basically... It was about a 5-minute walk from where I lived. And I went into the bottle shop and I could hear them... There was a band playing in the pub. And... You know, they had a pretty cool guitar tone going on. They were doing a very nice guitar solo, or whoever was playing was doing a really nice guitar solo with a really cool guitar tone. And I said to the person who was serving me, obviously took my drinks to the counter and the music was very loud, and I said, who's playing tonight? And he just looked at me and deadpan said, Tropical Fuckstorm. That was the name of the band. Tropical Fuckstorm. And, yeah. When I see Operation Tropical Storm, I will always think of that band with the rather excellent name. I don't know what happened there. Did we briefly lose a person in the user list? I think we did. Hopefully they have a proper connection to me here. Hold on. Let me put away the stuff that I don't need. And then I suppose I'll get a pitfall trap back out. Alright. I think I may have been hallucinating. I thought that we had lost one of our hunters, but... Anyway. I'm sure Tropical Fuckstorm are doing okay. I don't know. It's quite a funny band name. I need to familiarize myself with what we're hunting. Plum Daimyo Himitor. Well, as you can see, Madolce is engaging him over this way. I'm desperately trying to ping, for fun, of course. So what I have equipped now is the Popcorn Gun Lance. This is one of your gun lances in the series that is designed to be used as a shelling gun lance. So not really useful to thrust it at the monster. But if you have a look at it, it is, hold on, shelling level 5. Now shelling level 5 means that it's quite high damage when you're shelling it. Level 4 is probably your typical max upgrade, but level 5 is a level beyond. So there's a good example of pinging to get angry. Kushala is quite desperate to be shot, by the looks of it. I do have to be careful. I have to make sure that I don't I really should have a load up for this. I shouldn't have used this. I should have used my other gunlet set, which I think has load up. But, yeah, I have to be careful that I don't accidentally shoot my teammates. I do also need to do a wyvern fire, so I might get ready for that now. I had a feeling that would happen. No, no! I hate that. Missing a wyvern fire is really annoying. I hate that shit. So that was asleep, actually. What you just saw there, that weird animation, was Hermitor falling asleep. Who's using the sleep weapon? So, oh, Kusha's got the bloody sleep weapon. So yeah, AJ's using a Cantor dual blades. Madolce is using Camelios longsword. And here's AJ, oh, sorry, here's Kushala with the, what's that? A fucking Plesioth sword and shield. Isn't it? I think it is, yeah. I believe that's Plesioth. And the reason why Plesioth does sleep is because if you've ever suffered at the hands of a flying Plesioth, which might be a strange phrase, but if a Plesioth flies over you, particularly green Plesioth, he actually puts you to sleep. It's one of the weirdest things in Monster Hunter, because you wouldn't think that Plesioth would have like a status like sleep, but he does. And for some reason, he only applies it to you if he glides above you with his belly within, like, a short distance of you. It's really weird. Like, why would that apply sleep to the hunter? I don't really understand it. But that status that the monster can inflict upon you is reflected in the weapons that you can forge of the monster. So there is AJ and Kushala demonstrating how to ping to express dissatisfaction. Yeah, I think you're right, Davida. The bite, I think you're right, can put you to sleep in later generations, but it's not something I remember seeing in older Monster Hunters. I don't know why we were hanging out in that area. I probably should have checked to see what the hell we were fighting. Because I do know that Gypsaro starts in this area down here. But yeah, bite would make more sense, because you can imagine a status or an element originating from the mouth, or perhaps more specifically the gut, and then coming through the mouth like a breath. But the Plesioth is not like that, at least not early on. I probably should do a wyvern fire. I just don't want to fuck it up like I did last time. Really need to paintball this Gypsaro so that I know whether he's dead or not. Okay, I think he's actually dead now. Oh no, yeah, he's dead. Cool. I was struck by the stop it. I was struck by the fact that I was able to paintball him after death, but I guess you can still do that. Basically, you've got two ways to check to see if he's alive or not. Either this thing will be flashing on his head, or his paintball will still be pink. If his paintball goes grey, he's dead. He's dead. Quest info, Rathian. I certainly know where you'll be. HR13, no, it wasn't explained what that means. So HR13, in the case of Monster Hunter 1, is... I'm trying to remember. I think that's high rank, isn't it? So high rank is the beginning. Sorry, HR 13 is the beginning of high rank. So that's where you enter a different level of difficulty. Fuck you, man. It's a different level of difficulty in Monster Hunter 1. Basically, you fight all of the same monsters, but they'll do a little bit more damage, and I think you also get access to better carbs in the case of Monster Hunter 1. It's a little bit more complicated than that in later games, but yeah. Monster Hunter 1, G, DOS, and Tri differ from standard Monster Hunter games in the online in that you accumulate hunter ranks in sort of batches. So for example, in the game that I'm playing here, going from rank 1 to rank 2 will give you access to different quests. Like your quest level is reflected exactly based on the HR that you have. So HR 1 will give you one group of quests, HR 2 will give you another. In Monster Hunter 1, G, DOS, and Tri, it's more like HRs 1 to 4, 5 to 7, things like that. Sorry, it's a terrible way of explaining it, and I'm not good at explaining it. I need to figure out a way to make it clear. But basically, you've got several ranks for each star level in Monster Hunter 1, and it just so happens that to get to the high rank level quests, that begins at HR 13. So that's quite different to how it is in this game that I'm playing here, for example. So when you go online, for example, in Monster Hunter 1, you'll see that there will be an HR requirement for a quest. And, well, that was actually really good. I think I've got a fucking Wyvern Fire Wake up there. That would be great if I did. I'd be very happy with that. But yeah, every quest online will have an HR requirement. At the very, very beginning, there will be no requirement. And then for the later quests, it'll have like a higher HR requirement. You need a certain number of experience points to reach a different rank. But if anything, what's most confusing about the entire thing is that when you learn how the ranking system works, unfortunately, it's totally different in the other games. So, like, for example, the modern Monster Hunter games don't work that way, I don't think. And most of the other games in the series don't work that way. So, it's more of a quirk that you will encounter in certain Monster Hunter games. The ones done by Alpha Team. Anyway. The best way to figure it out is to play, and then you will know. You will know of what I speak. So, Dragon Toadstools are not required for making Mega Potions. The only thing that you would use a Dragon Toadstool for, I guess, for consumables would be, Max Potions? So Max Potions are a bit different. They're definitely not required. Mega Potions only require honey. So, you will never really need to combine for potions, because you should just be able to purchase them. Perhaps not right now, but soon you will be able to. But in the future, you will need to combine for Mega Potions, which does require potion and honey as your combination. Now, honey is not that easy to get in the early game, but you will steadily get more and more. The way I approach it is I just try not to use Mega Potions at all in Monster Hunter 1. I use them as a contingency. Like if I've taken a really heavy hit, if I'm running low on potions, I'll start to use my Mega Potions, but they are designed to be in short supply, basically. You have 3 honey so far? Well, consider that... Well, I'm going to make this point first. Whenever you combine, particularly with something like honey where you have limited supply, make sure you have combo books in your inventory when you do the combination. So invest in some combo books. I would say try to get 2 or 3 combo books for combining mega potions. That way you don't run the risk of failing your combination. So all combinations will have a success rate, like a percentage chance that it will succeed or fail. You want to make sure that you're at 100% success rate using combo books in your inventory. It's sort of a passive thing. When you've got the combo book in your inventory, it'll just naturally boost your success rate with combinations. If you get 3 combo books in your inventory at one time, I'm pretty sure that'll give you a 100% success rate on a mega potion. That way, you're not running the risk of wasting the honey that you have accumulated. And combo books should be sold by one of the people in the village. There's also a guy who walks through Kokota village with a big backpack. I think he sells combo books. Yeah, combo books are not like... They don't teach you any recipes. They see how I've got them in my inventory here? It's just a passive thing. It just makes you more effective at combining. But keep in mind, you can only get the benefits of combo book 2 if you've got combo book 1, etc. So I can't just have combo book 3 and then benefit from that. You will actually receive no benefit. You need to have all of them. So there you go. I haven't recently streamed Monster Hunter 1. Basically, I had Monster Hunter 1 installed on, and all the files for it, on a hard drive that died. And since that hard drive died, I haven't been able to record it. But yeah, I used to do Monster Hunter 1. I'd like to do more of it. But I'll be getting a new computer soon, within the next few months. And at that point, I'll reinstall all of my PS2 Monster Hunter stuff and start recording that again, which I look forward to. Alright, I think I'll do one more hunt, and then that'll be it. Okay. AJ has discovered something very recondite in Monster Hunter 1. If you are playing on emulator, if your combination rate adds up to exactly 100%, you have a 1 out of 256 or thereabouts chance to fail it, which is pretty amazing. I mean, anyway. Anyway, so the quest that we had brought up is Gravios. I think we might do double Black Gravios, or double Gravios. I don't remember if there is a double standard Gravios quest. But I was just thinking that if we rolled a single Gravios quest, that's probably not substantial enough, so... So 2 Black Gravios and 2... Wait, hold on. Yeah, I don't think we've got double standard Gravios, so let's do 2 Black Gravios. I think that would be good. Oh. Madolce said ew, apparently. Are you sure? Well, I don't mind re-rolling if you want. Maybe I'll ask if he wants to re-roll. Nope. I think my controller's disconnecting again. When you say just Mega Potions and Potions, I mean, that's really what you will have on hand. You can bring herbs, you can bring combination materials for more potions if you want, you can bring things like max potions, but regular potions and mega potions is really all you're going to have for the whole game, for the most part. So yeah, I'd recommend getting used to that. You can technically have more than that, but it's not really advisable. At least not as a consistent strategy. I would say just play as carefully as you can. Because when you have limited healing supplies, you naturally play more conservatively. So, I noticed that I play much, much better in Monster Hunter 1 compared to, say, Freedom Unite. Because I have such limited supply of Mega Potions in that game that I play really carefully and I don't get hit very much. And when I do get hit, I try to use potions rather than Mega Potions. Now, as a beginner, it's not going to feel that way for you, but you should also try to achieve that. You should try to use Mega Potions sparingly. And also keep in mind you will be given potions in your quests as well. First aid meds, they're called. And they will help you with your healing. But, yeah, you just have to try and be as careful as you can and just watch the monster, figure out how it fights, go in for the attack only when it's safe to do so, things like that. It's obviously easier said than done, but in time you will understand how to do it. In time you will learn how to fight the monster as well. I will use something ranged. How about this? This looks like fun. I might get you guys to hold water shots for me. That's all good, Rodrigo. The thing with Old Monster Hunter is that it's very difficult to get into, so I think the community is naturally helpful. When someone shows the inclination to play Old Monster Hunter, people naturally want to help. People naturally want to give you the tools that you need to learn how to play and enjoy the game. Some people find the community to be toxic. It's usually 5th and 6th gen people who feel like they're being attacked by older players. It does happen sometimes, but it's not like it's not a constant thing, and it's also not consistent across the whole community. It's only a reflection of a small percentage of the community, and also a rare occurrence, in my opinion. G3, 2 black rapiers, and I'm going to be giving, hold on, so Kushala is probably going to, oh god, oh no, I've changed my mind, ladies and gentlemen, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to use a heavy bowgun, and I will tell you why. My intention was to give these guys water shots to carry for me, but by the looks of it, they are going to be shooting water shots. Now, I don't think Kushala is, but certainly Madolce is going to be shooting water shots, because he's using the same gun as me, so he's going to be shooting elemental. I will find something else to use. In fact, yeah, let's use a bow. It's called Eraser, which is a pretty cool name for a bow. It's like I'm going to wipe the monster off the face of the earth. The definition of Old Monster Hunter has really changed recently. It seems to be the case that the phrase Old Gen refers to anything pre-Monster Hunter World. Now, that feels very strange for me, because Monster Hunter changed a lot in 3rd generation. So 3rd and 4th generation definitely felt distinct from 1st and 2nd. Because while you did have generations 1 and 2 as separate generations, they felt very tied together. They felt very similar in so many ways. In the same way that 3rd and 4th gen felt very similar, but also between the two of them were very different from 1st and 2nd. So it's a bit weird to group them all together into one phrase, which is old gen, but that's what people seem to say these days. In answer to your question, old Monster Hunter seems to refer to anything that's pre-world. And no matter how weird that feels to me, I guess it's logically true that Monster Hunter was changed so much in Monster Hunter World that it almost felt like a reboot of the series. So I guess, logically, yes, you would say the generations 1 to 4 are old gen, and then, well, the old generation of Monster Hunter. And then everything after that was sort of modern Monster Hunter. I used to say, so before World came out, I used to say traditional Monster Hunter to refer to generations 1 and 2, and then modern Monster Hunter to refer to generations 3 and 4. But if I were to, today, in 2025, refer to 3rd gen as modern Monster Hunter, that would be very confusing. So, again, with the passage of time, you do have to update your terminology, and, you know, if that means that Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is old gen, then fine, so be it. So be it. Now, I did forget to bring coatings, because I had already delayed the team for long enough, but hey. My bow is still good. I do love this bow. It's got fucking charge level 4 with pierce level 5. That's yum. Yeah, well, you're playing Boomer Monster Hunter, Rodrigo. You're playing the Boomer Monster Hunter game. That's from 2004. I've actually got it, hold on. See that? PlayStation 2. I mean, I know it's flipped. I understand that I've got a flipped camera view, but there you go. PlayStation 2. Or rather, S. Yeah, it's PS2, man. This is old. But, yeah. But of course I don't play that version anymore. That's the terrible European version on PlayStation 2. Absolutely ill-advised to play that version. You should emulate the Japanese version translated. That is the definitive experience, in my opinion. Otherwise you'll be gathering with X, which is terrible. Carving and gathering with X. Can you imagine? It's enough to make me sick. For those who don't know, carving and gathering is always done with circle. Always, always, always. But for some reason, in the original Monster Hunter game, in the North American and European release, it's not circle, it's X. And I'm sorry, but that's intolerable. It's awful. And, to be honest with you, that plus the analog stick controls is the entire reason why it took me so long to play Monster Hunter 1. But once I got used to, particularly the analog stick stuff, I actually found the game very comfortable to play, because I'd worked myself backwards to it. My first gen experience, as in proper first gen, where I was building a character and really committing to it, was Monster Hunter Freedom 1. And that was very good. As a sort of dulling of the senses when it came to dealing with difficulty. Maybe dulling of the senses is a very unflattering way to describe it. I suppose what it is it's building a sort of tolerance that then allows you to go even further backwards and experience things like analog stick controls, and then even a little bit more jankiness in terms of things like camera movement and whatever else. And then all of a sudden you're experiencing the game as it was intended to be experienced. You're not sitting there complaining about how uncomfortable it is to play, you're instead experiencing the game, which is why it's good to slowly work yourself up to it. Of course, Rodrigo has skipped that stage. He's just going headfirst into the full clunky experience of Monster Hunter 1, but he seems game. He seems like he's ready to go for it, so I can respect that. Oh yeah, it's not at all normal to be using the right analog stick to attack. It's terrible, it's really bad. But you will get to the point where it's actually comfortable, like anything. When you get used to it, it's normal. And I almost wouldn't have it any other way for the old PS2 games, because it feels so unique. It feels very distinct from everything else. That's right. If you want to know what a beta test version of Monster Hunter is like, well, you're experiencing it now. When it comes time for you to play Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, you will have a full understanding of just how improved this game is from where Monster Hunter started. Whereas many, many other people who play Monster Hunter Freedom Unite can only connect with it insofar as it's this really old PSP game, really clunky, really rough around the edges. But compared to Monster Hunter 1, my god, it's incredibly smooth. Incredibly. Once you have completely absorbed all there is to know and understand about first-gen Monster Hunter, you play second generation and it is so smooth by comparison. Well, not second generation as a whole, but particularly Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. There's still a lot of clunkiness present in DOS and Freedom 2. But Freedom Unite was a very, very polished experience of traditional Monster Hunter. I'm really glad they came out with it. I'm really glad that they did. It actually redefined second gen. For many people, this experience is second gen. But it's probably not accurate to say that. Oh god. It looked like I just stood and took that, but I was trying to time my roll very precisely. It's just that when you roll too late, it means you don't roll at all. Too busy getting hit. Steam Deck's been a thing for maybe 3 or 4 years? 3 years, maybe? I didn't know much about it, actually. I didn't realize that it ran Windows. I thought it was something else. But yeah, you can basically do whatever you want with a Steam Deck. You can do everything that you can on a desktop or a laptop, but you use it as a portable console, which is very cool. Not something that I'm interested in, because I've always been a very stationary... well, how do I phrase it? When I play games, I'm stationary. I'm not moving around. I don't really like portable gaming. Portable gaming for me has always been, you know, buying portable consoles to play particular games where I have to compromise for a benefit that I don't really care about. The benefit being portability. The fact that it's handheld. I mean, I don't need that. I've never really needed that or wanted that. But all the same, I've played a lot of handheld games. But I honestly think that Monster Hunter did not suffer that much despite being largely a portable game series in the 2000s. At least that's how it gained its popularity. It was through portable gaming, through the PSP. Because Monster Hunter Freedom was much more successful than Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G. And then that continued to increase with the release of Freedom 2 and Freedom Unite. And then it reached an absolute peak with Portable Third. Freedom Unite was huge, but then Portable Third was gigantic. Although I should mention that this was in Japan only. So these were not the names that I'm using, but they were instead Monster Hunter Portable, Monster Hunter Portable Second, Monster Hunter Portable Second G, and Monster Hunter Portable Third. These games were huge in Japan in those days. And precisely because they were portable. But yeah. Mad Duck, you have joined us at the end of the live stream, I regret to say. I suppose I could do a better job of demonstrating the game disc of Monster Hunter 1. Let's flip it around. Hold on. I accidentally opened something in opening OBS. Give me a second. Whatever. I'll deal with it later. Why is it now doing that? This is terrible. You see how my my brightness has just gone to absolute shit? Let me fix that. Alright, there you go. Monster Hunter 1. Oh, what the hell's that? Oh, that's the Monster Hunter 1 demo disc. Check that out. That's it's not really a collector's item, but it's interesting. There you go. Monster Hunter 1. There's the back. Hunt or be hunted. Apparently I was brighter than the elf scenes in Lord of the Rings. Wow. But yes, you can see why I flipped my view. Imagine if I'm just like looking off into the distance, not even towards the game or inside the frame of the video. I'm just looking off into nothingness. It's quite ridiculous. Oh dear. Actually, I may as well keep myself on camera, huh? Because that was our last hunt for this live stream. The manual... Well, let's see how in-depth it is. I don't remember what's in the manual. Let's have a look. They've got advertising for network play on the back. I quite like this. So they've obviously done a deal. So this was a... Hold on. I'm going to flip my view again. This must be flipped so that you can see this. Take the quest online with broadband from BT. When you're ready for the next level, go online in teams of 4 and head off into the vast ancient world to complete exclusive hunts requiring all of your brain and brawn to survive. Prepare for online gaming with new 2 megabit broadband from BT and PlayStation 2 network gaming. Fuck yeah. It's a black and white manual. And yeah, it goes through some detail. It makes me wonder if it's got anything here that would tell you anything about the inner workings of the game. You know, the sort of stuff that would be in a Japanese guide. Probably not. I think it's just meant to give you a basic understanding of how to play. But yeah, they go through everything. If you are playing this game for the first time in the PS2 era, 2004, you better be reading that manual. And I'm sure many people were prompted to do so. I know I felt pretty lost when I played Freedom Unite when that came out. And, yeah, the same... Well, oh, that's an excellent position for my webcam to be in. That's remarkable. I should have it like that all the time. God, I've been doing it wrong. Alright. Thank you, Kashala. That's it for this live stream, as I've said repeatedly. I quite enjoyed that. I hope you all enjoy my current audio setup. The way I'm nice and close mic'd. You're getting, hopefully, the best quality vocal audio that I can personally produce using this microphone. And, yeah, I'm sort of going back and forth between having myself on camera and not. I think it works quite well. Do wide cam? No. No, I won't be doing that. Yeah. Upside down would be accurate to me being in Australia. Anyway, we've been live for 2 hours and 26 minutes. It is 1:35 PM where I am, and I very much need food. I need to eat something. That would be great. But I thank you all for joining me. And, I'll try to record more frequently than I have been. I haven't done Monster Hunter recently. I'll try to change that. I'll try to do more. Because I very much enjoyed this. I will see you next time, and hopefully the next live stream won't be too far away. Bye-bye for now.